All right, Kai. So first of all, put the link at the end if you would, just in case the moderator wants to have a look at it. I'll be studying an extract from the film The Wolf of Wall Street. That's the full title. And when you have titles, it should be in italics, and afterwards, in brackets, you should have the name of the director, Martin Scorsese, and then the year it was made. I think the drug is named after the people who made it, so it's Lemmon. Okay. So are we including the bit where he's talking on the phone? Because if we are, you haven't analysed this. I think it's worth talking about how the whole conversation takes place. And then for comic effect, almost to introduce that this is a comic scene, Scorsese holds the shot, the camera shot, which shows the bar in the background, and then DiCaprio's character just falls out of the frame, drops out of the frame, which is quite a comic technique that he's using here. This close-up that you're talking about follows the see, I've got the advert now. Follows the shot where he's shown reflected in the telephone, the chrome of the telephone, and you might want to say that this is let's just see. So look, here's him. Here's where he drops out of the frame, just disappears. And then before we get the close-up here, the connotation here, the reflection in the chrome of the phone, is that things are already becoming warped because the reflection itself is warped. Then we have an extreme close-up of his mouth. You haven't mentioned that. And then the camera moves up to the extreme close-up on his eyes. Yes, and you have talked about that. And there's the warp effect. And it zooms in here. And then it cuts immediately to this shot of him collapsing. And then the two dolly zooms that you have talked about. That's fine. There's one. There's the other. Okay. So I would include that shot at the beginning, shot from the side and him falling out of the frame. I think, I would talk about the character's face begins to warp and become wavy and blurry. And rather than saying this makes the audience understand, you can say something like, Scorsese uses this effect to demonstrate to the audience or to suggest to the audience how Jordan is feeling. I think you need to describe the way the camera works there. And this, you see, this is really just talking about what's going on in the film. This doesn't, the fact that he is on the floor shows how weak and decrepit he is. Yes, you go on to talk about the bird's eye view angle, but I think you need to talk about how the camera sort of follows him to the floor and then holds the shot above him while he tries to get up and reach forward. I just think you've kind of repeated yourself here. So how weak and decrepit he is, how affected he is, weak and inferior, how affected he is. You need to say, make your point here, and move on, because here again you say weak and powerless. Okay. There's more technical stuff that you could unpack, I think. For example, I discovered a whole new phase, the cerebral palsy phase. Okay, so this overhead shot is combined with the narration of him talking about the cerebral palsy phase and telling himself to stand up and realizing that he can crawl. So you might want to say, well, the audience are given an insight into his helplessness by the voiceover. And again, this is used for comic effect. Okay, walking's out. I think. What else is there? Yes, I can crawl. I can crawl like Skylar. I tried to find out what this crawl like Skylar was. I have no idea. Nobody seems to know on the internet. And then you get the cut to this wide shot showing the front of the house with him absolutely in the center of the frame. You can see how it's sort of very formal shot framed with the pillars on either side. Almost as if he's the doors are going to open and he's arriving in like the Shah of Persia arriving or something, or like some very important figure. And this is obviously ironic because here he comes slumping through the doors. You see the camera gradually coming down towards him, and then it cuts to this close up of him crawling over the lip of the steps. Let's just go back to your piece. Yes. I mean, I don't think it is that important. I mean, I think it's there for comic effect, as I've said. I guess the thing is that it's the juxtaposition of the clear and detailed and funny account he's giving of what's happening to him, and the visual content of him appearing to be almost completely helpless. Okay. And again, we're powerless and helpless here. I don't think that there's much tension going on. 10 times harder is a bit informal. Is it a phone box? Yes, I think you're right about the I wouldn't say fixated, that's not quite the right word here. I would say stay focused on what is happening on the physical action. Well, that is diegetic sound crickets in the background, because he would hear that as well. You could say something like that tells us that we're in a warm climate. I don't know where they are in America. Florida? Not sure. Don't start talking about I, talk about the audience. And you need to use the word Scorsese. There just isn't enough. Scorsese. Oh, there's Skylar. Okay. Right. I'm going to run out of time, so I'll make another one of these for you.